Welcome to the Richfield Concrete Podcast. If you've noticed peeling or flaking on your concrete driveway and are wondering why it's happening, this episode is for you. The good news? It's a surface issue and doesn't affect the strength of your concrete. Today, we'll break down what's going on and what you can do about it. We're not the only ones talking about this. This is a well-known issue in the concrete industry. The American Concrete Institute, ACI, notes that de-icers can increase the saturation of concrete, leading to freeze-thaw damage over time. So while it's a common winter issue, there are ways to protect your driveway and minimize the effects. What's happening? If your driveway is peeling or flaking, what you're seeing is called mortar flaking. The main culprit? Road salt. Even if you don't use salt yourself, your car can pick it up from the roads and track it onto your driveway. Here's what happens. Salt lowers the freezing temperature of water, which allows moisture to seep into the concrete instead of freezing on the surface. When the temperatures drop, that trapped moisture refreezes and expands, putting stress on the top layer of concrete. Over time, this repeated freeze-thaw cycle causes the surface to fracture. The Portland Cement Association, PCA, explains it this way. Repeated freeze-thaw cycles can result in surface scaling, particularly in the presence of de-icing salts, which promotes moisture penetration into the concrete. So while winter always brings some level of wear, the combination of moisture, temperature swings, and salt accelerates the process. Every winter has freeze-thaw cycles, but some have more than usual, and that's when damage is more likely to occur. Plus, with climate change, we're seeing more of these cycles throughout the winter, which only increases the chances of surface wear. In fact, a study by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, found that frequency of freeze-thaw cycles has been steadily increasing in northern states over the last 2 decades. More cycles means more opportunities for moisture to get into concrete and cause issues. This might look concerning, but it's important to know that this is not a structural problem. The peeling only affects the very top 1/8 inch of your driveway, while the rest of the concrete, 4 to 5 inches thick, remains completely solid. The American Concrete Institute emphasizes that properly placed and cured concrete maintains its durability over time, despite surface scaling. Concrete is most vulnerable to surface damage in its first few years as it continues curing and gaining strength. As time goes on, it naturally becomes more resistant to this kind of wear. Next steps. First, sealing for extra protection. Sealing isn't required for a durable driveway, but it can add another layer of protection, especially in harsh winters. Your concrete already has built-in admixtures to help resist moisture, which was part of our commitment to durability. But if your driveway has started showing signs of mortar flaking, applying a high-quality penetrating sealer can help protect it from further moisture damage. That said, sealing won't stop existing flaking. Once the surface is weakened, those areas will continue to shed until that top layer is worn away. The sealer is there to help prevent new damage moving forward. The National Ready Mixed Concrete Association, NRMCA, states that penetrating sealers can significantly reduce water absorption, helping to prevent freeze-thaw damage in cold climates. So while it's not a cure-all, it's an added layer of protection. Next, skip the salt, use sand instead. De-icers, including salt, do more harm than good. They encourage more moisture to get into the concrete, leading to more flaking. Instead of using salt, try sand for traction. It won't harm the concrete and still helps with slippery surfaces. The Federal Highway Administration, FHWA, recommends sand as an alternative for skid resistance, noting that it provides traction without contributing to concrete deterioration like de-icing chemicals can. Next, keep your driveway as clean as possible. You can't completely avoid road salt, but limiting its buildup can help slow down mortar flaking. If possible, try not to park in the same spot every day, since salt and slush dripping from your car can concentrate in one area and speed up surface wear. And when the weather allows, sweeping or lightly rinsing away excess salt and debris can help protect your driveway over time. Finally, patching. An option, but not always the best one. Patching mortar-flaked areas is possible, but it's not always the best solution. The color and texture of patching materials don't always match the original concrete, so sometimes the fix stands out more than the flaking itself. While it can be an option for larger affected areas, many homeowners find it's better to let the driveway wear naturally. The American Society of Civil Engineers, ASCE, notes that patching materials often differ in texture and color, making aesthetic blending difficult. That's something to consider before going the patching route. Final thoughts. Mortar flaking is a surface issue, not a structural one. While it can be frustrating to see, it doesn't affect the long-term strength of your driveway. The best way to prevent further flaking is to avoid de-icers. Keep the surface as clean as possible and consider sealing for extra protection. If you have any questions or want to talk through your options, feel free to reach out. Thanks for listening to the Richfield Concrete Podcast. We'll see you next time.